checkpoint 2, which we're working on during week 2 and week 3, is notating your melodies into Sibelius and planning your composition. So I'm also filling out the drafting journal, and you should be too. And we're currently at this stage here, putting melodies into Sibelius and starting composition planning. And I've done a little bit more work where I've just pasted my melodies into a very rough structure similar to the Greensleeves arrangement. As discussed last week, if you find your sheet music from places like 8notes.com or musescore.com, you can often find a MIDI file or an XML file, both of which can be imported into Sibelius. That will save you a lot of time. If I were a student, I'd be starting a new score, a blank score, and then I'd be adding some instruments, at least one, and then I'd be going over into my OneNote and looking at my melodies. And if I didn't have them as XML or MIDI to insert directly, I would literally be typing them. So the first thing I'd have to do would be to look at the time signature, which in this case is common time or 4/4, and the key signature of 1 sharp, and I'd have to set up my project like that. And as discussed, if you don't remember where things are, or you can't remember the shortcuts, but if you would just write key sig up here, you'll easily find it in the search bar. And I'm going to pick 1 sharp, and you'll see my mouse goes blue, and I'm just going to type that in there. Remember, these don't save unless you save them manually. And now I need my time signature, which I think is T. Ah, yeah, T for time signature. I could just type that if I wanted to. My mouse goes blue, and then I paste it in. Press escape, escape. If you couldn't remember, similarly, just start typing up here, and it'll take. And now we need the keypad on. So supposing it's not viewable, you want to find it, which is in the View Panels keypad. Go over here and go, okay, my first note is a dotted crotchet on B, and my second note is a quaver on C, and my third note is a crotchet on E, and so on. If anything weird happens, just press escape to clear the mouse, or Control Z if you made a typo. Or alternatively, if you escape and you just put the note on the wrong place, you can move it with the arrow keys. Once you've got the whole thing in there, we want to view one of the other panels, which is the ideas, and we don't want all of the inbuilt ones. We want the score ideas, which would be blank at this point. And what we want to do is capture the idea that we've just put in by using this little butterfly net. You'll notice it pops in. And then we want to right-click on it and edit idea info and actually give it the name. And you could also give it a colour. And then you don't need it in here anymore. And then you do your second melody. So in my case, my second melody was in a different key, which is fine. Just go in and change the key. Because I'm actually changing the key, I might say Control A to get everything. K for key signature and change it to that. T for time signature. Do the same thing, type it in, capture it, rename it. Give it a new colour. Now, some people are having trouble when they're in some of these floating windows where they can't see the OK button. It's sort of down underneath the taskbar. And if that happens to you, I suggest right-clicking and going into the taskbar settings and hiding the taskbar. And obviously you save regularly. So that's how you get your melodies in. Much easier, however, would be if you could import a MIDI file or an XML file. Here's some I got earlier for another student. Just say OK to everything, and you'll see that it's come in as it is, yeah? So in this student's case, she could just copy all of this, Control C, and if she had another file open like this, and she made sure that she made it the right time signature and key signature, which in this case is 2/4 and no sharps or flats, it looks like. So, T for time signature 2/4, K for key signature, no sharps or flats. Oops. Then she could just paste that over. So we only want to take the melody.